All right. Corey always says it's a man's job in the courtship to create an opportunity for sex to happen. And I was wondering, I had a shower thought one day. Does this only apply to men?
As you're contemplating on that thought.
Is it
Huh.
shameful for a woman to create an opportunity for sex? Is there a double standard? If a man opens a woman up, makes her feel safe and comfortable, and she has sex with him, the guy commonly ends up slut shaming her down the road. The she belongs to the streets thing. She'll
I
feel.
don't do that. I would never do
A
that.
lot of guys do. I'm thinking college age. I'm thinking younger
Well, that's because
guys.
they're fucking amateurs, and that's just stupid. Especially on a college campus, slut shaming a girl. Say you hook up with a girl in her sorority, and then you slut shame her and brag of what you did to her and how you humiliated her to all your guy friends,
Mhm.
and then you're hoping to hook up with some of the other girls for a sorority. You're a fucking moron if you do something like that,
He
because
acts like
she's
it's
gonna tell everybody. Everybody's gonna know. They're like, that guy's a fucking dick. They're not even gonna
mhm.
want him coming to their parties. That's
Right.
just stupid. You want her to walk away and have a smile on her face and feel like, she got lucky one night hooking up with you. And if she has a good experience with you, then that's going to be great for your reputation with the other ladies. So
It's a
don't
mutual
ever
shared.
fucking do stupid shit like that. And if you have a guy friend doing something like that, make sure you tell him to reach out, take his right hand, and choke himself. That is just dumb. Talk about shooting yourself in the foot.
Well, yeah, so she feels like ashamed, embarrassed, devalued. He feels like he had this conquest. He's a hero.
No, she just slept with a bitch. That's all
Well,
it
that too.
was.
But
She gave him a mercy fuck. So she actually did him a favor. And
but
he revealed that he was the
Yeah,
douchebag.
if you to go around like boasting that you just had sex to everybody, odds are you don't have sex that often. Like,
there's a lot of comments on Corey's YouTube videos about guys bragging about the girls they scored and all. And then on the same video, there can be guys complaining that women are all like sluts and that they want a virgin. And so my point was, if purity is so important, are these guys also virgins? Is there a double standard? What do guys really want, sex or a
Well, I mean, at the
virgin?
end of the day, guys that are talking like that, they're not happy. They're pissed off at women. They're not getting the success they want, or they're not dating the maybe women they want, or maybe they're just not having a good life. Maybe they're an incel. And it's like with all you guys, when I started having when I started having you all on my YouTube channel, I mean, you saw the
Oh
comments.
yeah.
It was you or your daughters or any of the other women I've had on. It's just constant talking shit to belittle the women, s- so they feel better. They're trying to puff themselves up. And so when I see these guys talking shit about you or Gracie or who Caroline or Esty or whoever, it's they're fucking being a bitch. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's a guy doesn't have his shit together, and I don't like it. I don't like to see it, but it just shows you where that particular dude is at. He's Remember, no one will ever do or say anything to you that isn't a direct reflection. When these guys are all hating on you, it's a reflection of how they feel about themselves, and so they're trying to make you feel bad.
Hmm.
They're projecting how they feel about themselves onto you, trying to make you feel bad, maybe hoping that you'll respond in anger or feel bad or hurt by it. Then they feel better about themselves and their shitty lives.
Right.
But it's a reflection of where they're at. It's what their consciousness level is, and it shows that they got a lack of success, because happy guys don't go around talking shit about women like that. Now it's fun if a chick truly does belong on the streets, and if she's doing some ratchet shit like cheating on a guy or causing all kinds of problems or lying to him, taking his money or something like that, then yeah, we can all joke around and laugh, because because there's guys that are like that too. We all need to be aware that these kinds of people are in society and they're in the dating pool.
Yeah.
And so you got to become good at spotting them, because you want to they're just toxic. They're messed up people and you want to keep them out of your life.
Right. I just feel like that if guys are going to hold women to such a high standard, why is it okay for them to not be held at the same standard of sex partners and sexual activity? I just feel like our
Well, a lot of them
society.
point to the studies, and they go, the more recent ones, what you saw in the the one we did on the studies on sexual partners, the 1980s, obviously maybe Gen X were just awesome and special. So even though we slept around a lot, we had no problem maintaining long-term relationships. But the 1990s, the millennials and the now the Gen Z, I guess those are mostly probably millennials. And you looked at in the 90s of stats, and it's going up. So the more sexual partners, the higher the divorce rate. It could be changes in culture. It could, divorces become easier to get in the last 30, 40 years. There could be a number of things, but does that study definitively say, what is it? Cause doesn't equal causality.
Oh.
How do you say that? Oh, the study. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you really got, when we looked at that, it's contradictory information, because the people that got in the 1980s, the more sexual partners they had, the longer they stayed together. The 1990s, the 2000s, that curve is the other way. It shows the less likely they were to stay together. And then so you got the guys, especially the dudes in the red pill community, that are all looking for the perfect virgin. They demand they've got to have virginal purity. And they look at that and they go, oh, that's justification for why you got to have a low body count woman. But then you look at the data from the 80s and you go, well, if that were true, then that line would be going the other way. And it's
always.
not.
Yeah.
And this was from the Institute for Family Studies that did this. So, I mean, you got contradictory data. So you can make an argument either way. And you could also say, well, what changed?
All three of those are down there.
What changed in the culture? And like what I was saying in that video is how, I mean, divorce is easier to get, and there's less of a stigma than there was in the 1980s. So it's more people are stepping away that should have stepped away and gotten out than would have in the 80s. I'm always looking at, are they happy? Because when people are happy, they take care of themselves and they live longer. And when they're not happy, they basically eat and drink themselves into an early grade. And most of the people I know, I grew up with, even ones that we were younger, seem to have good relationships. It's like they just let themselves go, man. They just do. They don't give a fuck. And they openly say it. We hear these same conversations now. It's like you get into around your 50s and you really get to a point where you don't give a fuck. You really don't. You know you're going to die. You've lost a lot of people who are close to you. And you're like, and people get that way. A cardiologist friend of mine, he says 55 and under, 75% of them, when they're, they've had a heart attack or stroke, and that's when they end up seeing him. It's like 75% are like, I'll change my diet, I'll exercise, I'll do what you tell me. He says 55 and up, 75% of them are like, I don't fucking care, give me the pill. I'm not going to the gym. I'm not changing my diet. I just don't want to experience pain or discomfort. I just want to. So it's, I don't know, it's like you get closer to that age and you're going, what does it matter? It's all going to turn to dust. So you might as well find a way to enjoy your life where you're at, because it ain't going to last.
Yeah.
And it constantly reminds you that not only is it not going to last, but there's people around you and evidence everywhere. You're like, wow, I didn't expect to see that guy dying or that chick passing away.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah.
Or like what's happened to you in the last 48 hours with some of your friends' kids. You're like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. Whoa. Somebody just totally wrecks their fucking life.
So while we're on the conversation of double standards for men and women, I was thinking the other day about what Rollo Tomasi talks about in The Rational Male, does, hypergamy, which what would your description of hypergamy be specifically?
Well, to me, the way I look at it, and they've kind of made a religion out of it, but it's just everybody wants to date up. Women, and so they really focus on women want to marry in other words, they want to get the BBD, the bigger, better deal. They want to get a guy that's maybe better quality than they deserve. And so their argument is that, well, she'll monkey branch and don't care who she fucks over until she gets the top dude that she feels she can get. And then she'll settle down and have a family and try to live happily ever after. But if she finds somebody better, then she'll just monkey branch to somebody else. It's like, that's kind of the attitude.
She's trying to fill her needs.
It's pointing the finger, and it's all women's fault.
So I was just thinking, men commonly leave for better deals too. They're
Yeah.
instead of financial security and protection,
You want to
their
get the
needs are maybe
hotter,
sexual,
you want to get the
physical
hotter,
needs.
more
Yeah,
fun,
yeah.
younger chick.
So if you really think about it, I kind of see this happening on both sides.
That's what I've been saying about it.
And so, the US infidelity statistics that I looked up, I found an article from hernorm.com. It's called Infidelity Statistics 2022. Do men or women cheat more? And so, what I found here, it says recent data from a survey conducted by the National Opinion Research Center at the University of Chicago says 12.9% of American women aged between 18 and 24 have cheated, compared to 15.9% of their male peers. So in the 18 to 24 range, um,
Men or dogs.
they've got the edge over women there. And then it goes on to say, the same study conducted on people aged 65 and older revealed that 25% of men have cheated versus less than 10% of women. So I just look at those statistics, and those are two completely different age ranges.
I mean, at the end of the day, men are going to cheat more.
Yeah,
That's the
so
bottom line.
a lot
But
of
if you listen to Rolo and the rest of his zombie army, women are the most evil creatures on the face of the earth, and it's all their fault. But I can understand also the other guys, especially like the men's rights guys, some of the states, especially the blue states, the Democratic states, the divorce laws are completely unfair and totally slanted in favor of the woman, to the point where the guy he has basically no rights. He's at the mercy of the state, and they get jerked around way more. And so when it comes to that, women have the power. I mean, they literally have them by the balls legally.
yeah. I think in the state of Florida, from what I learned going through divorce and custody,
This is the free state of Florida.
So in the state of Florida, the amount of child support that a man gives to a woman has to do with the percentage of time that she cares for them. So they really base it on time. So we started
Florida's
out.
always better, but you don't want to move here. You don't want to come to Florida. It's just an awful
Florida's
place.
full.
You wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like it at all. Definitely stay out in California and the rest of the blue states. You don't want it. It's a swamp down here.
But I think that's fair to base it on the percentage of time. That's like that makes sense to me. Now, alimony is a whole other thing. I don't know. I think it's different in every case on what you broker.
Well, alimony also, they look at what was her earning ability before,
Income.
and if she was earning a good money before going into the marriage, and say she became a homemaker, took care of the kids, then it's assumed that she'll be able to get back on the job market and get something comparable to that. And versus somebody that maybe she never worked, or she was working a minimum wage job, and you're some rich dude making millions a year, and she was making $10 an hour or whatever. You swept her off her feet, married her. In that case, even in Florida, I believe you're going to be paying alimony as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what the numbers are. You can check with a divorce attorney, because it's been a long time since I got divorced. I'm sure the laws have changed, but there's there's like an income bracket, I guess, that when they earn, unless you just earn like a huge outsized amount, then I think if the, because I remember, because my business partner, he went through a divorce, and because she was able to earn good money on her own, he didn't have to pay her as much as he would have otherwise.